All right, boys. Give you some feedback on this device here you see in the center of the camera mounted on an Element Nexus scope called a trigger cam. Now, I think this thing is made in South Africa. Don't hold me to that. They can be bought on eBay. You can even, I believe, you can get this thing on Amazon. There's not too many people on Amazon as far as vendors. I looked yesterday. All right. Now, you can't change the battery in this thing as far as like you can maybe that Tacticam. Okay, now I've not used it a whole lot, and I've looked at a few other people's videos. You know, now Sharpshooter's not trying to get you to buy shit, okay? I'm going to tell you what I honestly so far, how I feel about this thing. And I've only used this. I've not used a Tacticam or any other device that records, you know, what the scope is on when you touch the trigger. I've seen some reports that said this thing's hard to set up. Well, this damn thing's easy to set up. Okay. Focusing this thing, you got to be careful. Look at the reticle. Don't look at the image. Adjust your parallax. Get your image right in the scope at, say, a fixed distance of 50 or 100 yards. And you'll put your little insert on. And you'll push this all the way up. All right. And then when you focus it, look at your reticle. Probably better to dial your magnification up somewhat and look at the clarity of the reticle, the detail on your reticle, not the image the scope is on. Okay, that's what I did the first time, and I went back and looked at mine, and I made a slight adjustment looking at the reticle. I think it looks good now. Okay, now this thing here has, right now it's off, so if I wanted to use this, let's say I was out hunting and it was in that shape there, I hit this button. Now these buttons are very recessed, so they're not the easiest things to push, but that's probably a good thing, because you won't be accidentally pushing anything. You'd mash this button, alright, and when it comes on and you hit this button one time and the blue light will start flashing, you're recording, you hit this button to stop it. You can leave this thing in what they call standby. It is consuming power doing that. Okay, or you can leave it like it is like right now, and then if you see something you want to record, of course you would be hitting two buttons. Okay. Now, that scope is mounted low on that gun, and that's how the sharpshooter likes to run a gun he plays with squirrels in the woods with. Alright, because close shots with 50mm objectives mounted higher above the barrel can cause you fits. Because you're even in this configuration here, at 20 yards, you have to hold over a little. But it's easier guesswork with it mounted lower versus higher. Okay, now I've been using that FX Impact air gun, and I got sort of used to it. It's taking me a little longer to get behind this gun. So notice this part right here. You don't have anything really protruding on the sides, okay, of this trigger cam. Everything is above it. That's what I like about it, but sharpshooter's going to be honest with you. If you're wearing a low baseball bill cap like that, which depending on the sun angle, I may pull my hat down a little lower. When you go to shoot, your hat is going to get into this right here. Okay? It's not a big deal. Just, you know, you might raise your hat up on your head a little bit, getting behind what I've got right here. That's what it's doing for me. All right. And then you've got these two caps up here, a big one and a little one. The little one is for focus. The big one has got your charge port, your card in it. Now, I've not done this yet, but I suspect I can do it. I believe I can remove this from this scope. let's say it was raining in one day, or I just didn't want to use this thing. Now, it does have some weight to it, okay? It adds weight to the gun. I'm not going to bullshit you. It makes this gun feel pretty good, though. It sort of balances it out a little bit. Now, this is the Lilja Sport Taper 17 HM2 barrel, okay? It does balance it out. But I like it. Now, will I record every shot I shoot at a squirrel using this? I doubt it. It's going to depend, okay? Leaves on probably would be fewer versus leaves off, but it would depend on the squirrel. All right, but now you can leave this thing, like I said, in standby mode, where all you have to do is hit that button to start your recording, and then hit that button again to stop it. So far so good. The weatherproofing, I think it's rated IPX or IP64. Well, that's what they've got it rated, so I don't know. You can run this on external power, and that's probably the only thing I really don't like about this thing. You have to have this off. There's O-rings on these two screws up here, this big one and this little one. So you could run this thing in the wild with external power, but this cap would have to be off, so it definitely couldn't be raining probably, and you try that. It's pretty crystal clear. And what I was going to say earlier, since I've got this pushed all the way up, okay, it's going to hit back here, you know, this part in here. If I take this off, I can probably put it back on this scope, as long as I don't fool with anything on it. Parallax adjustment. And recenter it and tighten that screw, and I'm back in focus. Now, I could check it if I wanted to, but I probably wouldn't have to. Just make sure it's straight, you know, so the crosshair, you know, so it shows up in the camera, you know, straight. I try to get it fairly straight, looking at my level there. The only other thing about it, this level's a little harder to see. See it right there? With this right here. That right there. That's alright. I can live with that. Alright. But I'm not using any of the others, so, you know, I'm not telling you to buy jack diddly. I'm just sharing what I've seen. Hitting your hat here, not being able to see that level. The two biggest things I see on it right now, and neither one of those are showstoppers. Alright, it's supposed to have about a 4. Well, you have to look at the manual. You know, look at the length, and look at the run times on it for recording. And you can put about 128 size card in it. Don't have that in it right now. It's got the card that come with it, a 32. I'll change that though. And you can do 4K video with it, but I'm not going to do much of that. And I think that would actually come in on your battery run time. There's no need for me to be doing 4K video. Not shooting squirrels and groundhogs. That's going to do it. Have a good evening.